Hi everyone, it's Bobbie from Fifth Avenue Cakes, and peonies are one of my favorite flowers. So for Valentine's Day, I'm going to show you how to make a peony flower. First, you want to take a 22 gauge wire and put it through a styrene ball. Bend the wire in half and then twisting it as close as you can to your styrene ball, twist down the wire. This will give you enough strength to be able to hold your petals and push them on. When I make my peonies, I use rose cutters. So starting with the smallest of your rose cutter sizes, put the petal that you've cut out on a foam pad and use your ball tool, half on the pad and half off. Then with the broad end of a Dresden tool on the side, pull out some frilled veins. You're going to frill that petal. On both sides. Now frill the back and then put it to the soft side of your pad and bring in with the broad end flat of your Dresden tool, bring in the frills. Place it in a Peony Veiner and vein it. Carefully release it from your veiner. If you need to use some cornstarch, you can. Create another one the exact same way. So you have a pair. I have rolled out my gum paste before cutting it in a pasta machine to a number 7 so that they're fairly thin. Add egg white to your petals, a little bit on the ball too, up about 3/4 of the way on each of the 2 petals. Place your peony petal a little bit more than halfway on your styrene ball and squash it down. Leave the top a little bit open. Again, add egg white to the second petal. Place it on your styrene ball, slightly overlapping your first petal. You want to cover the top of the styrene ball. None of the balls should be showing on the very top there, where the 2 petals are. Now with the exact same size cutter, you're going to make 3 more petals in the exact same manner and bring your egg white up 3/4 of the way. Add your first petal on, slightly lower than the first 2 petals. Go ahead and put egg white on the remaining 2 petals. Place it on your styrene ball on the opposite side. Be sure that it's at the same height as the previous petal. With the third petal, you're going to put it on one of the 2 sides that are still left without a petal. Don't worry about the side that you leave blank. We're going to be filling that in. Try it and open up the right-hand side of your petal so it overlaps that third petal, and tuck it in cleanly. Now you should have a ball that's round with a little bit of frilling on the top. Again, with the ball half on the pad and half off, soften your edges. Bring your Dresden tool in on its side, frill out your petals on the harder side of your pad. Turn it over. Again, frill out those petals. Peonies are quite frilled, so go ahead and frill away. Turn it back on the soft side, and with the flat end of your Dresden tool, draw those petals in. Turn it upside and on the back side, and frill it in on the other side. Now to add some extra filling, use a ceramic frill tool and go around your petal. Take care to not let the point dig into your paste. Now place it in the Veiner, taking care to know which side is the back and the front. Repeat this process for 4 more petals, so you have a total of 5. For these petals, I have used my large cutter, and so I took down the bottoms of it. When you go to place your petals on, you're going to want to place it in between the 2 petals where the space is, so that it looks like it's spiraling around. Open the right-hand side of each petal and place in another petal. Using egg white about 1/3 of the way up. At this point, your flower is quite heavy, and you're going to want to work with it upside down. Try not to get any egg white on your hands, because when you go to petal dust it, it won't take the dust. It's almost like a shellac when it dries. Go ahead and place your 5th petal in. You'll want to put some foam pieces underneath each petal, and I like to kind of pinch the tops just to give it a little bit more of a peony look. Now you'll be using 5 of the very large size of your rose petal cutters. Put the egg white about 1/3 up the petal on all 5. Place the first petal between the gap of 2 previous petals and line it up with your wire. Again, you're going to want each petal to go under the right-hand side of the previous petal, so it looks like it's continually spiraling around. And you'll still be working upside down. Between the 4th layer of the petals and this 5th layer, both need to be hung upside down for a good 15 minutes before you add on the next layer. To add wire petals to your peony, you want to take a piece of gum paste, roll it into a sausage, and place it on a groove board. Roll up first to get your length, and then roll side to side and try not to roll over where the groove is. That is the part that you need to be fairly thick for your wire. You're going to be working with a 26 gauge wire, so take it as thin as you possibly can, a little bit thinner than the number 7 that you've been doing on the pasta machine. At this point, I work with one petal at a time. It might seem like it takes longer, but that way I can get as much detail into each petal as possible. Then place your rose cutter, you're going to go into one size larger, over your grooves. Make sure it's centered from the point to the top. Remove your excess paste. Scrub it against the board so that you don't have any frills on your petal. Place your 26 gauge wire in some egg white and then carefully thread it into the groove. I find if you twist the wire as you push it in and you hold where the groove is, you won't break through on either side. With the ball half on and half off, just smooth out the edges. Now place it onto a firmer pad, and I'm using a smaller Dresden tool, a skinnier one, so that I can achieve even more frills onto these petals. And frill out your peony. Turn it over and repeat the exact same process. Place it on a softer foam pad, and with the same Dresden tool, bring the frills in, just as you did with the petals that were unwired. Repeat on the back side. And carefully place it into your Peony Veiner. Mine's pretty deep, so I'm going to bend the wire so I don't rip my petal. And vine your petal. Go ahead and move it over if the viner's a little bit smaller, and just vine that one side. If you need to bring out a few more frills, go ahead and do so on the back side so you don't remove the vining you just put in. Gently pinch your paste down the wire so it appears that the petal is one with the wire. Place it on an egg former and allow it to dry. I go ahead and dust while my petal is still fairly wet. So it's been on that egg former for about 10 minutes. I have mixed plum, a little bit of African violet, and some bridal satin to create this color. It is also the same color that is on the inside of the peony and the one throughout the peony. Using a filbert brush, go ahead and start from the bottom up to the middle of the petal, from the sides to the middle of the petal, and then from the top to the middle of the petal. The back side will be lighter than the front side. And as your peony grows out, your coloring should fade just a tad lighter. Now I like to assemble my peony while my petals are still on the wet side or more that leathery stage. There's less of a chance of breaking those wired petals, and I can kind of move the shape around a little bit if I need to. So place all 5 petals on, and then you can worry about moving them around. Try and place them though in between the gap of the 2 previous petals in front of it. But the beauty of having it on a wire is that you can move it. I find for me it's easier to add 1 petal at a time, but if you want to add 3, 4, or 5 all at one time and you're comfortable with that, go ahead and do so. Now, depending on how big you want your peony, you can add another row of 7 wired petals to bring it out. This is as big as I want to go for what I'm using the peony for, so that's as big as I'm going to go. Thank you for watching me, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.